Psychological tricks people use in arguments and how to beat them. Let's talk about something real for a second. Arguments. Not the loud, dramatic ones you see in movies. Not the ones where people are screaming and throwing things. I'm talking about the quiet ones, the uncomfortable ones, the ones that stay in your mind long after everything is over. You walk away, and something doesn't sit right. You start thinking, what just happened? Why didn't I say what I wanted to say? Why do I feel like I lost even when I wasn't wrong? And that feeling, that's not random, because most arguments are not about truth. They're about control. Control of the conversation, control of emotions, control of perception, and people use psychological tricks, sometimes without even realizing it, to take that control away from you. Let me show you how it actually happens. 1. You're too emotional. You're sitting there, calm, explaining something that bothered you. I didn't like how you spoke to me earlier. Nothing aggressive, nothing dramatic, just honest. They look at you, pause for a second and say, why are you getting so emotional? And right there, something shifts. You weren't emotional before, but now you start thinking about your tone, your face, your energy. You pull back a little, you soften your words. Maybe I am overreacting. And just like that, the focus moves away from what happened and lands on you. But here's the part most people don't realize. That moment. That's where you either lose or take back control. So instead of reacting, you stay still, you breathe, and you say, I'm not being emotional. I'm explaining something important. No anger, no defense, just clarity. And that calm confidence, it's hard to shake. 2. Twisting your words. You say something simple. I wish we communicated more. You expect a conversation. Instead, they respond instantly. Oh, so now I'm a bad communicator? That's not what you said, not even close. But now you're stuck explaining yourself. No, that's not what I meant. And the more you explain, the more the conversation slips away from your original point. Now you're not talking about communication anymore. You're defending a version of yourself that never existed. And that's how control is taken. So this time, you slow everything down, you don't rush, you don't over-explain, you just say, that's not what I said. Pause. I said I want better communication. And you stop, because clarity doesn't need a speech. Sil. 3. Silence. The argument ends, but it doesn't feel finished. You send a message. Nothing. You check again later. Still nothing. Hours pass. Then a day. And now your mind is louder than the silence. Did I push too hard? Did I say something wrong? Should I fix this? And slowly, you start moving toward them. Not because you're wrong, but because silence made you uncomfortable. But this time, you do something different. You send one message. When you're ready to talk, I'm here. And then you let it go. You don't chase, you don't double text, you don't overthink, because silence only works as a weapon when you're afraid of it. 4. Dragging the past. You bring up something simple. You didn't call me today. That's it. But suddenly, they pull something from the past. Oh, really? Because you ignored me for a whole week before. Now everything is mixed. Today, yesterday, last year, nothing is clear anymore. And when everything becomes the problem, nothing gets solved, you feel overwhelmed. Where do you even begin? So you don't, you just drop it. But this time, you stay grounded. We can talk about that later. Pause. Right now, I'm talking about today. And you hold that line, because focus is control. 5. Playing the victim. You finally speak up. I didn't like how you treated me. There's a pause. Then they say, I guess I'm just a terrible person then. and something inside you shifts instantly. That guilt, that pressure. You didn't mean that. Now you're the one correcting yourself. No, no, that's not what I meant. And suddenly, you're apologizing. You went from expressing your feelings to protecting theirs. But this time, you don't move. I'm not saying that. Pause. I'm talking about what happened. You stay there, because once you accept that role, you lose your position. 6. Raising the voice. The conversation starts normal, then the tone changes. Their voice gets louder, faster, they interrupt you, they don't let you finish. And slowly, you start shrinking, you hesitate, you wait for a moment to speak, but it never comes. Now you're reacting, not expressing. So this time, you change one thing. You lower your voice, calm, steady. I'm not going to talk like this. And you pause, and that pause, it shifts everything, because control is not about volume, it's about stability. 7. Confidence without truth. They speak with certainty, no doubt, no hesitation, and even if something feels off, you start questioning yourself. Maybe I misunderstood, maybe they're right. But this time, you don't back down, you slow it down. Explain that again. How does that work? Now the pressure shifts. Now they have to stand on what they said. And that's where confidence gets tested, because real truth doesn't collapse under questions. 8. Making you doubt yourself. You remember clearly. You told me you would call. They look at you calmly. I never said that. And now, you pause, because you know what you heard. But their certainty makes you hesitate. You start replaying it in your head. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe I assumed. And that's where control happens. Not by proving you wrong, but by making you unsure. So this time you trust yourself. I remember what was said. And you stop there. Because when someone keeps doing that, they're not confused. They're rewriting reality. Final thought. Listen, arguments are not just about words. They're about control, emotion, and perception. And most people don't even realize they're using these patterns. It's automatic. It's learned over time. But you see it now, and that changes everything. You don't react instantly anymore. You pause, you observe, you respond with intention. And the real power, it's not winning every argument. It's not losing yourself inside one. If you made it this far, you already think differently. And on this channel, we talk about psychology that actually helps you in real life. So if you want more like this, subscribe our channel. Because the more you understand people, the harder it becomes for anyone to control you.